stand for the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And would you call the roll, please? Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Ms. Revoladi?
Yes.
Dr. Vernon? Yes. Mrs. Gibson? Yes. Okay, we are all here. Moving on to approval of the minutes. We have regular meeting minutes of September 29th and board work session from October 8th. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Revoladi. Were there any corrections? No? All right, hearing none, would you call the roll?
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Ms. Revoladi?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson?
Yes, motion carried. There are no accommodations and communications this evening and no reports or public participation at this time. Connor? No. Okay, I've not met Cooper yet, so, all right, moving on then, board items for discussion. And we have no items this evening for discussion. So we will move right along to any additions and deletions for this evening.
I told you this would be a quick meeting. We do have a couple
You are
of
welcome.
we do have a couple of additions to the agenda tonight. It's in our personnel section, so you'll see the names of Humphrey, Earl, and Metcalf in that section tonight. That's all for additions and deletions.
Moving on to superintendent's report.
I do have a number of items for information to share tonight. I'd start with my district update. We're kind of in that really unique position of transitioning or right at the end of the fall season. So I thought I would just bring a few things to your attention that are going on here at the end of October. Our Senior Citizens Fall Luncheon is coming right up. It's November 13th. It'll be at noon to about 2 o'clock at the Gymnasium Auditorium. We're going to give a district update. East Elementary is going to participate with some of their young folks in a kind of a Veterans Day collage. We have a fall drama production that'll be going on right real close to there, and they've agreed to kind of give us a little bit of a snippet of what the fall play will look like. We'll have some fun and games and giveaways, so that's all coming up. And folks will just have to RSVP to Jessica at central office. And we hope to get anywhere from 250 senior citizens. So it's again, something we've been doing for quite a while. Our fall newsletter is going to be coming out shortly. John's been working really hard with Allerton Hill. Judy and I both protested about having our pictures in there, but they just felt the need to put our pictures in there. And we lost. Judy, trust me, her picture's on page 2 in her section. So
This time.
Yeah. I think we said this time only, But we'll have articles in there like creating our future one student at a time. It's a little bit of a master plan update, which continues to feel it needs to be updated. We talk about the district's 4-star rating, which we talked about a little bit at our last board meeting, and how we're in the top 5% of schools that are in our cohort. Wired for the Future, #1 in Knox County, Mount Vernon High School, and U.S. News and World Report. These are small little snippet articles, Wheels of Success. Again, I was able to share at a really neat event that we'll talk about here in a little bit with Coach Tressel, or Lieutenant Governor Tressel, about our kids riding bikes, and he was just really impressed that, wow, you're really doing that. So not only his challenge, but and so that article's in there. The Jacket Golf team won the league title, and then learning an app in an upcoming event. So that'll be coming out, I think, within the next week and a half, John, you think? And those will be going out to all of our box holders. We'll also put it online. John has actually linked your board document here, so if you wanted to see it here, but I'll maybe try to send it to you in a board update as well, and you can read all 8 pages. Okay. cross country is still going strong. A couple regional bound teams, both the boys and girls, are heading off to regionals, which is really, really exciting. And Lucy Rush is just breaking all kinds of records. And so it's really exciting to see. You know, her times right now really put her right there. You know, she has the right kind of a day and all of that, right there in medal contention at the state level, you know, providing everything just kind of continues to go. But we're really proud of both teams, and we're proud of Lucy and her accomplishments this year. There is that MVHS fall play I was talking about. It's called Play On. It's a comedy. It's going to be November 14th and November 15th. There's 3 showings, 7 o'clock on Friday night, and then Saturday 2 and 7 at the high school theater there. And so, again, we now have a fall play and a spring musical on a yearly basis. It's really kind of fun to see, and I would encourage anyone to go out and support them in that endeavor. This took place today. Dressel's Fitness Challenge at Wigan Street, and he spent about an hour with us, and we live streamed it to the general audience, anybody who wanted to live stream, but specifically we wanted to do it to Wigan Street kids who not all of them were going to fit in the gym at this time. And so you see Coach Dressel there with Coach Brock and with Miss Grandstaff. And so it was a really neat event. I know Dr. Bennett and Butch were able to be there, and so we got a neat opportunity just to kind of chat. So kudos to Wigan Street for taking on the challenge. They're bronze award winners. If they decide to take it on next year, they'll become silver award winners and then potentially gold award winners. And you may find that we'll have other elementaries who will want to jump in on that challenge as well. Although you'll read in our update that we're doing fit-a-thons in many of our other buildings, just maybe not this specific one. So the last part of my conversation with you in our district update is really just to kind of pay tribute, to share a few thoughts about Karen Wright. And as you all know, she recently passed away, and we sent this, I sent this in memory of Karen, and this specific thing out in the Facebook post. And it got 47,000 views. It was one of the highest ones we'd ever done, 383 comments. And so I don't know that even I realized the impact that she had. I know Judy and I got a chance to read the National Review, which is a very well-renowned magazine, and the tributes, and you were like, wow, she did that, and she did this, and she lived right here in Mount Vernon. And so I wanted to kind of make sure that we certainly recognized her and her family. They have a special ceremony here on Saturday at the chapel. And I've heard that it could be filled.
Do you know what time?
10
a.m.
I think. Is it 10? Yeah, I thought maybe that does sound about right. So just also, so while this is that picture, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to share a little bit about what her lasting legacy might be. So Karen's lasting legacy, she has been instrumental in our 5th grade outdoor education program. Ever since my time here, which is now 12, 13 years, you know, she has paid for half of our students to go on a camp experience, and that's pretty special. She's also been instrumental in the Washington, D.C. 8th grade class trip, really bringing the cost of that trip down. She'll pay for all of the busing. She'll pay for all of those to get into Washington's Mount Vernon home, and you know, it's a place she took a great deal of pride in, and so she had done that every year for the past 14 years, which is pretty special. She really started the Yellow Jacket Club grant. It was a grant that went out to different clubs that maybe didn't have booster organizations like the athletic or the music boosters, but they needed some additional funds. Meeting with her, realizing how much she liked to give, but she also liked others to give too. We always tied our Yellow Jacket Club grant into some sort of a community service project. And so if you got grant receipts. You got some revenue from the Yellow Jacket Club grants. You had to give back in some way, in some sort of service. I just put these two down. There were many others, but Robotics Club was a recipient on a pretty regular basis. So was our Power of the Pen folks. Big Sibs was another one. She just was a really neat opportunity to give to different clubs that maybe didn't have the funding. So that was really important. She was really instrumental in reading. When I first got here, she had started really small with Twin Oak Elementary, bringing in a reading program called Fast Forward. And it was really designed to help students who were having real challenges with fluency and decoding. And then it began to spread. It went from Twin Oak to, one other school, and before long, it went to all 6 of our elementary schools and was focused on those that were really challenged in that reading component. So reading was important to her. People don't realize this, how instrumental she was in the county, but it actually, a lot of benefit for the schools was a safe route to schools. And so she would provide the city with funds to, really help, whether it's Division Street and that sidewalk that goes all the way down to the end, to streets that go into Dan Emmett today. The city didn't always just have the funds to do that, and it was important enough to her to make sure that was something she would do. 14 years ago, she was big in our first renovation of the stadium and the track, and really tried to match some funds back then. Interestingly enough, when you think about it, and it doesn't seem like this is as old as what it feels like, right? Now that the front part there is a little newer, but the stadium and the track were new 14 years ago. She made me make a promise that when we had to replace that turf, she wanted there to be funds to be able to do that and not to take it upon taxpayer dollars. And so what Judy and I did back then was money that we had received as part of gifts for this, for the project, we set aside and put it in a community foundation fund so that when that day comes, and I believe that day has come, our turf is needing replaced now after 14 years, we have enough money in that fund that we can replace the turf, again, at no taxpayer dollar cost. And so I think that is really something. The track is really in need of an overspray now. And so those may be things we look at over the course of the summer, but she was definitely a big part of that. Along with the boosters, Tim was actually the Booster Club president back then. And that was quite an undertaking, and it was that extra lift that got us over the top, right? And Tim was really instrumental in that as well. And then, of course, you can't think to talk about Energy Fieldhouse and kind of the contributions that went in there. And Judy and I were just reminiscing about a meeting that we went into in the aerial boardroom, and we had a whole different drawing than this. It was a very much more simplistic drawing. And she looked at well, it was David Connolly at the time, Judy and I don't remember who else went.
Justin.
And Justin, and she said, I want you to think bigger and dream bolder, and that's what came of it. And then, of course, the matching funds that came with it, to realize that facility there was all paid for by donations, and in large part to her contributions. Well, it's just a legacy that'll live forever. And I think when you walk out of here, and you walk, through those doors and you look on the wall, you'll see Energy Fieldhouse, and you'll see Ariel, and you'll see a picture of Karen's influence on that. And so all that to say, really, just thank you, and may her legacy live on for a long, long time. So just thought I might share that quickly. I don't know if anybody has anything they want to say relative to that, but
Just, you forgot all the trees that she's planted.
there's a story about that, and Judy, I'll let Judy tell it, but Judy, why don't you tell her, while we're in there talking about, I mean, Justin and I are talking about hoops and tracks, and all of a sudden she does what?
we were talking about this place, and she said, "What? You have to have trees. You have to have trees in the parking lot." And we were like, "Okay, trees in the parking lot and windows." She said, "I went and I noticed in the picture needs to be bright in there. We need big windows, lots of windows." And we're like, "Windows, yeah, that'll work." Yeah.
It feels like when we first did the trees, it was like, that's not enough trees.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta get more trees in there.
Well, and all over town too,
Yeah.
not just here.
Is that hers? I mean, all the little trees that are planted all over town? Is that from her?
I believe so.
Okay, 'cause
Except
we
the
got them on
ones
both
that are
sides
in
of
the
our
little
building.
park areas, those
They're
are the
beautiful
trees.
little trees, yeah.
Well, and I think when I looked at some other sites, I mean, I tried to just capture a few what was specific about Vernon, but when you start talking what she's done at NBNU and the Kenyon Wright Center and, Ariel Foundation Park and downtown, it goes on and on. So.
It's really a testament of being unselfish. We have this ability to help our children in the community, and that was first in her mind, and it was really unbelievable what she did, and I'm eternally grateful.
The philanthropicness is something that's not quite there like it used to be, and what a great model to follow if we. But anyway, so special thanks to her. The second item of information in this section is your favorite, my favorite. Judy somehow during this she had a meeting. I don't know how that came up, but she said, if you need me, give me a call. And it took us 2 hours to go through a lot of these policies. And you're going to find that some of them are just really simple. I would encourage you to go to the overview, because the overview will give you a brief description of each one of these. And ironically, when you take a look at it, when you see the same number, but kind of with a, like, I'm trying to look here if I can see it. You'll see the same number over. It might be a 3130, then a 5130, it might be a 2430. It's the same policy, but one deals with classified staff, one deals with certified staff, one deals with teachers. So feel free to take a look at it. Some of it is simply based upon simple taking out of the gender kind of things that have been, kind of in the news a lot. So, we put them in once and now we're taking them back out. So we'll have 2 readings on that. Please feel free to take a look at that. Give me a call if you have any questions. There wasn't anything that just stuck out that I was like, oh, wow. But I'll do my best, and if I can't, we'll find somebody who does. Other than that, we have no items in the superintendent section tonight for approval.
All right, then we will move on to curriculum and Dr. Bennett.
I'm looking at the 3 articles. The first one is about having a film festival, and they captured the challenges of middle school youngsters and their friends, and it was called the Friends for Friends Film Festival. They had an awards challenge, and the students actually performed in the films that they came up with, and they tried to pick practical things that students were dealing with, such as cyberbullying or dating, abuse or whatever that really pertains to them, peer pressure, anxiety, things that students were typically dealing with at the middle school level. And they created this film and they chose cyberbullying, and they had a detailed plot, a conflict, and a solution. And the students enjoyed hanging out together. After school, they practiced and filmed it, and they got some adults to participate. And the product was well received, and they had awards given out. And you wouldn't believe all the awards they gave out for Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Extra, Best Female and Male Role, Adult Roles, Best Supporting Actors and Actresses. It goes on and on. They also had an annual impact award and Best Short Film. And all the films are available on YouTube, so they can just send their parents to see the films. And the second one is about the Kettering High School City Schools have the option to enroll in one of 15 career technical education programs that are currently offered. And they had a multi-million-dollar grant, which helped them a great deal. And the Fairmont students prepare for advanced manufacturing jobs. They learn to interpret engineering drawings, and then they actually make the parts by welding. And they have a video that you can actually see where you can hear the kids sawing aluminum sheets and making parts to put together for in the use of CNC machines is also included. And the skills include geometric knowledge and other math skills that are really important. And they are actually earning credits at Sinclair Community College simultaneously to earn their high school credit. And it made me think, you know, our Career Center is bursting at the seams with students who want to go there. We really don't have space for more programs to be added. So maybe we want to think about something that we could do to offer students that have a career tech interest but want to stay at the high school, such as engineering, whatever you might come up with, or we might come up with. And then the research article is mainly about employers seeing industry credentials as a bonus for graduates, and how the clear message is that just a diploma is not good enough anymore. They want to see some life skills and credentials and real-world experience and essential life skills, and they're the benchmarks for true career readiness according to employers. So just kind of a quick update. Any questions?
No, I would just say you're spot on relative to career readiness stuff and the credentialing. We've had just recently the secondary principals meeting, and we're continuing to look at maybe programs we can offer that the Career Center can offer, or programs that are kind of similar. We're hearing a big push now towards welding. There may be some industries, locating close by where there's a real interest in that, and how do we be that supplier of future workers? And so, are there things that we can work on together? And I think there's some real possibility there.
Well, and also doing some joint programming with the Career Center, and that's always been a real challenge because of scheduling. But if there's any way we could work that out, maybe some of their academics, they could take at the high school.
We've talked about us taking the academic buy-in share, which might free them up, and you're right, it does kind of come down to some other things. I know we've looked at their calendar. We try to match those up as best we can. When you see some new legislative things that are out there, they're talking about having to identically match up bell schedules and all the schools, and you know what, I mean,
So much for local control. Right?
That's exactly right. Well, they said there's still local control, however. Yeah, however.
According to these rules.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
it could be. That could be one of those where we're kind of forced to figure it out,
Mhm.
other than each have our own way, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we only have one item in this section for board approval tonight. It is a ski club weekend trip to Seven Springs that'll take place in January. It appears that we're going to, by all forecasts, going to have a little snowier winter than we've had in the past. Maybe not as cold, but snowy, which just makes my heart sing at 4:30 in the morning. But anyway, Ski Club wants to go to Seven Springs in January.
I would entertain a motion for the ski club weekend trip.
So
Thank you, Dr. Bennett. And second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Regoladai. Any questions? Anybody volunteering to go with us?
Sounded great.
Yeah.
That's a lot in one day.
It's a
Yeah,
one
that's
day.
a lot in one day, yeah.
Feeling it.
There'll be a lot of sleeping children on the
They'll
way
be-
home,
Right,
right?
they'll all be sleeping on the way home.
There and back, yeah, absolutely. All right, would you call the roll, please?
Dr. Bennett,
Yes.
Ms. Regoladai,
Yes.
Mr. Ward,
Yes.
Mr. Workman,
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann.
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on to fiscal services and Judy.
I gave you all the really good stuff last month, so this month you just get the regular report. This is our, we're into the third month of the fiscal year. There's our cash balance, that's all funds. I did move some money, and I'm gonna send you a report. I moved some of the funds that we moved into the 070 over to Meter, who does the investments for us. And I had him today, just this afternoon, do a report for me on where they were all going to be invested. So it's kind of interesting to see. And he layers it, so some of them are short-term, some are longer. But the interest rates, they're expecting to see some cuts.
Right.
So we've got some locked in for a year, more than a year in some of them, so that'll be good. On here you can see we're right about where we ought to be. Our revenues, obviously, we've got half a year, on the real estate property. It's less than half because, again, it's the second half. A lot of people get their tax bill in January, pay the whole year. This is the July payment, so it's down to 40%. And then on the salaries, we should be at about 25, we're at 26. Same with the benefits, we're at 25. The other things, we'll have to keep an eye on the capital outlay. Some of those may be purchases that, going forward in the year, we may look at the PI fund if we end up going over the budget, but we're doing pretty well on the other things. So the total expenditures are about 26%. We're looking at 25%. And then the investments for the first 3 months is up $297,000. And I expect that to be pretty healthy this year with the money that we just moved over to Meter. Not that Park's not paying us good interest, they are. It's just a different kind of investment. It's a sweep account and a money market rather than these actual securities that Meter can buy. And the rest is just your balances for each. And we've got a donation to Pleasant Street from the Gay Street United Methodist Church. $1,000 for PBIS rewards. And then one memorial book titled When You See a Cardinal, in memory of Janet Brzezinski, grandmother of Christina Biggerstaff, who's an elementary art teacher at Wiggin Street. And that's it.
I would entertain a motion for the fiscal services items as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr.
I'll second.
Rivera. Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Any additional questions? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Mr. Goloday?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Gatsby?
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on to business services and Ms. Regola-Dye. Boy.
Good luck.
Good luck. Exactly.
Lots of things. As I was going through all of it the last few days, and I thought, how do you consolidate it? So I tried a little bit. After the State House overrode the veto of Governor DeWine's regarding property tax items in HB 96, the governor formed a property tax work group, and the work group released its report at the end of September. Part of that work group, there were 20 recommendations, with some of them impacting public education. I won't go through all 20 of those recommendations. You can do that as you wish. HB 129 includes language that addresses some of the concerns from the overriding of one of the items in HB 96. And then HB 309, HB 335, HB 186 all address funding through taxes of public schools. And there are many other recently introduced legislation. They range from addressing truancy to financial support for student teachers. So if you go through that report and anything else that you may get in your mail and you have any questions or you want me to contact certain people at the State House, please let me know, and I will do that. After I've read everything, I'm a little more confused than I was a few days ago. So that's it.
Thanks for saying that. It's understandable.
Yeah, I think Judy and I are both in a similar boat. We just keep listening. And I will say I'm thankful to some local representatives who still come to our superintendent's meeting. And I hopefully we treat them with respect. We may not always agree, but we can be respectful and do that. Representative Lear was at our last meeting. I talked to Mark Heiner today, and they understand our concerns. But as some of us were talking about, when this outside group put in this constitutional amendment trying to get signatures to get rid of property tax, as you can imagine, they're going around the fairs, and a lot of people are like, absolutely, let me sign up as quick as I can. And unfortunately, I don't know that there's a lot of thought given into, well, what do property tax really pay for? But if that goes away, then what happens to fire or EMS or libraries or schools? And so it sounds really good on one hand, but how are we going to backfill to make sure we support these services that we really vitally need? And you just hope that people will think that far ahead, but boy, sometimes when it's just you're thinking about the pocketbook, I get it. So that's why I think you're seeing all these bills come really fast and furious. And the most recent one, Senator Brenner's bill, it's the first that's been a little bit more maybe outreaching, that tries to determine how they're going to backfill some of these things. But whether they can really pull something like that off is interesting. As we were talking earlier, it puts us in a little bit of a different position, because here we've been talking master facility planning, and when you read through Representative Brenner's proposal, if that would pass, districts would no longer have the ability to levy any money, whether it's levies for operating, for PI, or for, in our case, a bond issue to build new schools. And if that was taken away from us, how would we ever move forward? And they certainly haven't answered that question yet. It was asked quickly, and the answer was, well, you'd have to make it do with the money that you're given, without maybe a lot of forethought. So I'm sure there may be some additional conversations on that. But it certainly has a lot of us wondering what's next. Representative Lear really assured us at our superintendent's meeting, you're going to see more bills coming at a greater rate. So I guess we're going to hang on. I think as a board, we're going to have to really kind of listen here, but we're probably going to find ourselves needing to make some decisions in the not so distant future about how we want to move forward with our master facility plan. And is it the right time? Is it not the right time? Is there ever a right time? I would share that I talked to the OFCC here this week, and they're ready to queue us up in their funding cycle that has already been approved through the capital budget. The next capital funding budget cycle is this summer. And there was a realization that, well, we don't know what will happen this summer, but this money is guaranteed and you're able to be a part of it. Well, we'll have to make sure we make some decisions on how we want to move forward with that. So I would suspect that here in November and even December, we might find ourselves having a work session just to really kind of tackle a couple of those kind of issues. So. In this section for board approval tonight, we have a number of facility use requests. You see the Knox Special Olympics, Mount Vernon 4th grade basketball, the Knox County Spelling Bee. If you want to challenge your spelling acumen, a great place to go. And then All Out SC, which is kind of a youth kind of a soccer thing. You don't have a link on this one because we're having to send that one back just to be reviewed as it relates to cost. Originally there was a no cost here, but there's a realization that after we looked really closely at it that a lot of Saturdays, and Saturdays when we're bringing in outside people to watch kids participate at Twin Oak, we've always felt the need to have custodial staff if we're going to do that. So I left that out. I think we can approve the idea that they're gonna do it, but we're gonna ensure that we have staff there on hand.
When I looked at that, I wondered if the system still wasn't working, it was just all zeros. You know,
Yeah, you know, it needed to be further vetted. So it wasn't a system issue. It was an input issue. I think there's a thought that, well, as a parent, I might just be able to stay and clean up afterwards and we'd all be fine. It just, I mean, it was well-intentioned, but not the way we want to operate. So we had to go back and say, well, I appreciate there's a willingness to stay and clean up afterwards, but, and it's one thing if it's just a practice. We do allow some of that, but when you start to have things where you're actually bringing outside guests in to use restrooms and to watch kids participate, I need some supervision there. So hopefully that answers your question, but it was inputted with the hope of one thing and it probably.
I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ward.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Workman. And Dr. Bennett, to answer your question, is the system working that Dr. Dill put in? Yes, we are able to e-sign a lot of those. Yeah.
But I meant the costs are always zero.
Most of the time it is.
They are, yeah.
We're very generous with our facilities, and if it happens to be during the week, and we have custodians in buildings, and it services kids, we don't charge. We are very generous. It's just when.
And I think we should be, but I've noticed some of them,
Added cost.
It's an added cost. We probably need to make sure we scrutinize that better.
Yep.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Ms. Regola-Dye?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann? Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Moving on to student services.
The item for information there is our determination of transportation and practicality, and of course we always share that as an informational item before we approve a resolution to pay someone in lieu of transportation. And as you recall, generally this is when someone lives outside of a certain distance of which we can bring a bus or a van into play. And so we have a prescribed mileage rate that we would provide parents if they need to do that.
I would entertain a motion for the impracticality of transportation payment.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye. Second?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ward.
Nobody's jumping at it.
Would you call the roll?
Ms. Regola-Dye?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on to personnel certificated license staff.
Just a couple of items for information. We do have a revised retirement date. Amy Binks, who is our social worker at Pleasant Street, I think instead of going to the end of the year, has found out she can go perhaps just a little bit earlier. And another reason why we're able to bring in that social worker to kind of mirror for a period of time, so we would lose that ability. So, and then one salary change notice. Recommended items for board approval tonight, you'll see in the sections listed. You see a couple more retirements. They're getting those in earlier, and they're names that just are names that we'll all recognize and go, wow, they're really retiring. So Quinn Bandy and Chris Keir have served this district well for a long time. And so we'll get a chance in May to recognize them. Continue to try to find substitute teachers, and so there's a list, some supplemental contracts. Again, as we're transitioning between fall and winter seasons, now you're starting to see supplemental contracts and pupil activity contracts that more align to the winter time, like bowling, wrestling, swimming, those kinds of things. So that's items really C and D there. And then we always welcome volunteers. And we have a number of items, volunteers, to finish out this section for your approval tonight.
I would entertain a motion for the certificated items as presented. Thank you, Ms. Vergola-Dye.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Workman. Any questions, comments?
Just a big thank you to the people who are retiring that have devoted so much time and energy to the school system.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Goloday?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on to classified staff.
We have no items for information in this section tonight. Recommended items for board approval, just 2 items. The first is 2-year contracts for 2 of our classified employees. And then item 2 is substitute employment. Again, trying to keep that substitute pool healthy. And in some cases, you'll find we have some who carry on other positions that if a sub position might come available in the evening on a particular night, they're willing to step up.
I would entertain a motion for the classified staff as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ward.
A second.
Thank you, Dr. Bennett. Any questions? Hearing none, would you call the roll?
Mr. Ward? Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Mr. Goloday?
Yes.
Mrs. Getzmann?
Yes. Motion carried. All right, moving on to board member comments. And who would like to start tonight? Anybody? Jeff, would you like to go first?
Sure.
He wants to go first.
Thank you to all in attendance tonight. Appreciate you being here. Just 2 things. One, wanted to also recognize, unless I didn't see it correctly, wanted to congratulate our 8th grade football team. I believe they won the LCL conference, if I saw it correctly. I did.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I did see
Yeah,
it. Okay.
they did, yeah.
And so I wanted to
They were
congratulate.
actually undefeated, if I'm not
Yeah, they're-
mistaken.
Yeah, their career record in 7th and 8th grade is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, but, so I wanted to thank those coaches and parents and everybody behind all of that. But, I wanted to even thank, Coach Weber and the broader program and what's happening with football here. It's just a fun thing to witness. So I wanted to thank all of them. The other thing that struck me here tonight, and it was when you were recognizing Karen Wright. I know we've got some discussions and things to figure out as we move ahead, and I saw her quote of dream big and be bold. Let's not forget that.
Mr. Workman?
I'd like to thank those that came, even if you had to be here, I'm not quite sure. It was a short one, so thank you. But I would also like to pass along my condolences to the Wright family. When you start reading about the generosity that Karen has provided, it's amazing and so far-reaching. And reading some different articles and things, I think I had an idea, but I mean, there was so much more. The generosity, where we're sitting wouldn't probably be possible. And so from downtown to Mount Vernon to the NAS to the park, here, definitely, just a big thank you. And what a long-lasting legacy that'll be. So very thankful for that.
Dr. Bennett?
Well, I'd also like to offer condolences to the Wright family and to Lorraine Lawton, and especially her children. And knowing Karen, she was humble, but she loved this community, and we won't be able to replace her, but we're certainly grateful for all that she's done for us. So I just will be praying for that family, that they will be comforted and knowing that she left such a wonderful legacy for our community. And the other thing I would mention is how great it was to be at Wigan Street today. That was really fun to see former Coach Tressel and now Lieutenant Governor Tressel work with the kids and get them excited and focused. And it was just a fun experience. And I appreciate the principal and Brock for bringing it. Christy and Brock just went out of their way to make sure, you know, their kids are doing fitness, and the emphasis is on nutrition and getting enough sleep and being active. So what a great message for our kids, and I hope our other schools will. I know they're doing other things in different ways, but it was a great program. And I guess I also would like to thank all of the volunteers that we have, and those that sponsor clubs and activities, and just all. I was talking with our grandkids this weekend, and these extra events just mean that's where the memories are made. That's where the connections and the bonds for a lifetime begin, and extra skills and life skills like all of those things are so important, and I just appreciate all the people that make that possible. And the teachers that volunteer to do, well, maybe they're even getting paid, but for all the hours they spend, it's not enough, I'm sure. But the fact that they care about the kids enough to do the extra is very meaningful, and I appreciate that so much. And I know how it's impacted my life. It's impacted my children's lives to be in sports, and now it's impacting my grandchildren's lives. So thanks to all of you who are going the extra mile.
Ms. Regola-Dye.
Thank you. Thank you to the people that are here this evening. How many of you from the Nazarene University are going into some type of education?
That's why you're here.
All of you? Wonderful. Thank you very much. We need you, and we're relying on you for a future. And I hope what we've discussed this evening, and with Superintendent Cedar's presentation about Karen Wright, that you understand the deep connection between community and our great public schools. We have to have that partnership, and that those words up there on our wall mean something. And you can be part of that in your future. And if we didn't have a great community here, we would not be able to function. And thanks to all the parents and all of the other businesses that have contributed to our great public school here in Mount Vernon. And we hope to see some of you applying for employment in the future here in our own city. Thank you.
And I will just conclude again by offering my deepest condolences to the Wright Buchwald families. Karen definitely has left her legacy, and I hope we can carry on and do it justice for all that she has done for our community and put forth. I know she loved Mount Vernon, not only Mount Vernon, Ohio, but Mount Vernon, Virginia, and she has truly poured her heart and soul into those two communities, and Mount Vernon means a lot as a community as a whole to her, or it did. And as Bill said earlier, here we sit, thanks to her vision to dream big. So may we continue as a district to dream big. You're right, Jeff, absolutely. So thank you for that. Bill, Judy?
Well, I would like to also thank you. This is the shortest board meeting in my 12 years here.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Generally, we have one of our 8 schools do a presentation, and that's always kind of fun to see what's going on. This year, we've been doing some departments. We had thought about having some additional work after this meeting, so we purposely kept it short, but realized that this is going to be our bulk part of our meeting. Anybody graduating in December, by the way? We're always looking. Nobody's graduating in December yet. Thank you for your thoughts of going into education. Right now, our field is not as rich and full as it used to be. I think you're going to find opportunities for sure. So well done there. I too would like to say we're excited about the football team. Well, we wish our cross-countryers the best as they come up. Tomorrow night is our last home game. It is senior night. And so you're going to have almost 50 different seniors crossing the field, from band to cheerleading to cross-country to football. Tomorrow night's game is against Granville. It's a difference of going 7-3 or 6-4. If we win, we are absolutely guaranteed a playoff opportunity. You know, even if we would end up 6-4, there's an outside chance that we could be in the playoffs. In a very traditional sense, we haven't been in the playoffs since the 1990s. We did make it back during COVID year, but everybody made it that year. And so this feels like a real legitimate, like, you know, you got a record that qualifies you. So we'll certainly be keeping our fingers crossed and seeing how tomorrow finishes out, and then who we might be playing in the future. I think if we win, we might even host a game here.
Oh my God.
Because we would be a lower seed. So they now take 12 seeds, 12 teams from each region. The first 4, they get a bye. So then it's teams 5 through 12. So if you finish 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th, you host a game against 9, 10, 11, and 12. So, you know, 5 would play 12, 6 would play 11, and so on and so forth. So, you know, all that to be said, we just look for a great game on Friday night, and the chips will fall where they may.
Yeah,
Nice.
big kudos to, as you said, Coach Weber,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
growth from the middle school
Yeah.
on.
Well, and also he sends out so much great information before the games, you know, that's really helpful.
It's about building, and I think he's doing a really good job at building.
Sure is.
We want to make it sustainable, so it becomes a tradition and not, you know, a once in a 10-year kind of a feel-good thing. I think we're really creating that culture now.
I think I even read where the Little Jackets are playing, I don't know if it's this week or this weekend, for a championship as well. So again, there's that, the feeder and building the program, not just a team, and that's huge. As you understand the program building piece of football.
Well, when you
is
saw the
huge,
little
yes.
kids lining up.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there were, do you happen to know, but there must.
I had 2 grandsons out there, so, you know, it's
That's right.
It was
It's
amazing, and the
important.
little cheerleader, it was
Yeah.
just a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
And I think all of our programs, there's that building up of the future
Yes.
in our music program and our arts.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I enjoy Friday nights. I have my phone charged, sitting at one game, watching 2 others. So
Yeah.
Friday nights are a lot of fun for me. Yes. All right, if nobody else has anything else, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Regola-Dye. And a second? Second. Thank you, Dr. Bennett.
Ms. Regola-Dye?
Yes.
Dr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Ward?
Yes.
Mr. Workman?
Yes.
Mrs. Gatsby?
Yes. Motion carried. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Safe travels, enjoy your evening, and if you guys need anything from anybody, let us know. Thank you.